the Callisto Protocols, which is one of the recent games that I bought. Callisto Protocols, right? I found it on sale. This is a year after I came out. Came out 13 months ago, December 2022. Callisto Protocol. First off, I'm not sure why this game got so much hate a year ago, right? I'm more like on the positive side, like for this game, right? And now, I'm aware, right? Over time, I got more patches and more updates, right? So over time, the game mechanics and the elements got better. But yeah, Callisto Protocol here now. Like, share, subscribe. I share the video all over. Callisto Protocol. So first off, the same guy who made Dead Space created his own studio and made this game. So this game is very much inspired by Dead Space, right? So yeah, Dead Space inspired this game. So there's lots of inspirations like from Dead Space. Tons of brutal scenes, gruesome sines, chopped up limbs and all that. And yeah, if you guys play Dead Space, you'll know, right? A vicious viscera, gore, blood and gore everywhere, and yeah. Callisto Protocol, though, this game, though, first half here, though, the presentation out of the game, the audio design is very good. You're fighting zombies, and you can actually hear the zombies. They walk in vaults, like these vents, and I can actually hear them. I can literally hear the these creepy steps. Sometimes too, stepping on platforms, climbing, right? It's very realistic sound design. The audio design in some of the background music as well, right? Where sometimes, like most horror games, as you like approach a scene that's gonna be like horror, the music starts to build up, right? The orchestra builds up after that, right? So yeah. Callisto Protocol as well, in the gun designs, and the guns sound very realistic, right? In the bullets, the reloading and all that, and your movement, the footsteps, everything like about the game is very much such good audio design. Visuals, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful game. I played it like on a bigger TV, and this game looks beautiful, right? It is this game. It is like a horror game. So most part, you are in dark areas, dark rooms, dark settings, dark arenas. But Callisto Protocol, right? It does a very good job, like with shadows and lighting and showing this gore. Like it's so detailed. There's so much detail at to the visual gameplay. So the gameplay though is very. The gameplay though sometimes is a little hit or miss, but for the most part though, like I had a fun time with it. I've played Dead Space, so this one is inspired by Dead Space. You get this grappling hook, is a telekinetic grappling. What do you call it again? A kinetic grab or whatever, so you can grab things and throw it, right? Yeah, explosions and you can grab infected and all that objects, and yeah. So the same thing like as a kinesis in a Dead Space 1, Dead Space 2, whatever it's called, right? But yeah, so you get that. This one, the biggest difference is there is more melee. So there is more attention to melee, like in this game. So you're going to be meleeing enemies a lot more. So meleeing enemies is more, with Callisto Protocol, you get this baton and the meleeing. So you dodge and then you basically wait for the right time to melee an enemy, right? Now, the dodge system, I heard a lot about this dodge mechanic over the last year. A lot about, it's not that good, it's trash. Now, the dodge system, for me personally, this is just for me, I didn't have a problem with it, right? Like a big problem. Sometimes, however, the window for the dodge is a little inconsistent. So sometimes it is too slow. So the actual animation happens too slow, or sometimes it happens too quick and you don't know how to react after it. But for the most part, though, I didn't really have a problem with it. The problem comes later, more so like when you have to fight, the bosses, right? This game doesn't have many bosses. There's a few bosses, very few. But when you have to fight like those, a few bosses, and yeah, you have to dodge. And there's one boss where you can't shoot the boss. You have to dodge, and you have to melee it with the baton. That's the only way to do damage to it. And yeah, it was very tight. I felt very tight, and yeah, this tight fight. But for the most part, the dodge system is there. The meleeing, so you get melee, you get to upgrade. For the most part, you get the light melee. Then you upgrade, you get the heavy melee. I don't know why, at the game, I sure just gave you the heavy melee like from the start, right? To make it more instead of having to upgrade it. But anyways, yeah. So the baton. You start out like with this weird pole or this weird stick or whatever. You start out like with that, but then you move on to the baton, the stun baton. Right, the baton it is more effective like in earlier parts of the game, but later on in the game where you get introduced to more advanced enemies and armored enemies, right? And not so much armor, but just more buffed enemies. You have to shoot the enemies, right? Later on. Yeah. So going on the shooting and a gameplay, you got a similar thing to if you played any a survival horror type game. And most of them is like, you got to save up on resources, inventory management. So you got to save your ammo. Save your ammo as much as possible, right? Ammo gets more available. For me, it got more available later on like in the game, right? It's more so relative to the scenario. So if you're fighting lots of enemies, you're going to get more ammo, right? But more so early on in the game where you're doing more meleeing, you don't get as much ammo. But, you want to save up still. You want to save up those resources and bullets, and yeah. You get a pistol, so there's various pistols, variation of a pistol, and you get various shotguns, and as well one assault rifle, I believe. So yeah, the enemy, so for the most part though, the guns themselves felt very similar early on. You get this, there's a gun called the skunk gun. I'm thinking it's gonna have some cool special effect. The skunk gun is basically, I like this, a double barrel pistol or whatever, or this a quad barrel pistol. But it acts like a shotgun. But yeah, so for the most part though, you're using pistols and shotguns. So the guns, they feel very weighty. They feel very realistic. Mechanics I feel very good, right? Some of the enemies, they are bullet sponges. So are you gonna run into that? But it's all about strategy, saving your ammo like for the right a scenario situation and all that. Now switching, so I heard this switching the gun. So every gun is like some sort of like attachment. So every pistol gun is its own attachment. So you gotta go to the menu and then you gotta do this slow swap animation. So it's kind of weird to switch guns. It actually does get better because you do get this switch near the end of the game. 3/4 through. So 7 hours into the game, you do get this quick switch, right? So you can switch weapons a lot quicker, right? So yeah. So the switch early on, again, it's not that good, but it gets better over time, right? And so you're basically switching between the pistol attachments and the shotgun assault rifle attachment, and yeah. So yeah, Callisto Protocol. So the enemies in the game, lots of enemies. If you played zombie games, right? Fighting the zombies are reminding me a little bit of Last of Us. I know this might sound weird. It's approaching enemies, right? So meleeing enemies. Sometimes there are stealth takedowns of enemies. It reminds you a lot of Last of Us in its animations, in how you approach the enemy. The only thing with this one, it does have there is a grip, so you can use a kinesis to grab targets, right? So yeah. So there's going to be stealth-based enemies where there's these enemies that are blind, that they can't see you, but if you make noise, they'll detect you, right? There's other enemies, so the basic type zombies. There's the double-headed zombies. The double-headed infected, which is more of this buffed-up enemy. And it's like a boss. It's like a mini-boss. And yeah. There's other enemies that get mutated over time. There's other enemies that will spit out things at you that will do damage over time. And yeah. But for the most part, though, there's not a whole lot of enemy variety. There's not a whole lot, but I had fun taking out these enemies. There is one a unique enemy. It's the robot. So the robot, you're in like this prison, and there's this weird robot, right? That basically it's the robot acts like as a guard. So the robot acts as this guard, and you don't see them often. They're very rare. You come across this robot, and if the robot sees you, it's gonna kill you right away and you're gonna die in this brutal death animation, right? So yeah, but the robot itself, right, can be killed. More so stealth. You wanna save your bullets, avoid these robots, get past them without being seen, right? But the robots I thought were very cool. If they had more robot encounters in the game, it would have been very epic, right? I found early on the robots were more menacing than the infected, because the robots would kill you very quickly. They would kill you very, very, very quickly, right? and you have to be very strategic with them. So yeah, the robots, and yeah, Callisto Protocol upgrades, and there is some collectibles. So upgrades, similar thing to Dead Space. Again, there is the terminal that you have to go to up to buy more ammo, buy more health injectors, upgrades, and all that. The upgrades that I found to be very expensive, at times very expensive, right? When you want to upgrade to do more damage, effectiveness, overall capacity, all those things. I'm not sure how the inventory upgrade works, like for your actual inventory, but I think once you get the suit, there is a space suit. Once you get the suit, your inventory is improved. So a Callisto Protocol as well. So there are these health injectors. So your health is displayed like at the back of your neck, similar to Dead Space. However, that was like at your back through your spinal cord. This one though like is it's at like your neck, right? So yeah, as you take more damage, it goes from the green to yellow to orange to red, and then red is critical, right? You're about to die. So these health injectors, they basically give you more health. There's health points you can pick up that will give you more health too as well. Yeah, there is these credits. So the credits, and there is these converters. So the converters, you sell them for more credits. The credits, they're your currency. They're your upgrade points, XP, and all that. And yeah, so yeah, collectibles you can collect. So there are these. So basically, the world. So this jail, this prison, like in space, has been brutalized by this infection. There's dead bodies everywhere. There's viscera everywhere. For some reason, though, I thought of the cordyceps infection from The Last of Us, with the fungus growing on the wall, and there's these tentacles growing, and yeah. So it's a very gruesome game. So collectibles is gonna be like these dead guards, and you gotta pick out their chip, like at the back of their neck. It's gonna give you a lore. It's gonna give you a certain dialogue, or no, some sort of a recording like of them dialogue, right? So yeah, it is very scary. Like well, not so much scary. It is kind of frightening at times to hear, these regular people are doing their jobs, and then all of a sudden they just lose their lives in this terrible way, in this very terrible way, and yeah. So yeah, collectibles too are in the game. I'm not sure if there's a trophy. If there's a trophy specific for the collectibles, but yeah. Callisto Protocol as well. With this game, the protocol, right? You do get the grip. So again, the grip, going back to the gameplay, the grip, you can grab zombies and throw them into traps or like these spike walls. It is very cool. It is one of the funnest things to do. The grip does run out of battery, and then you got to get more battery. Once you pick up at the battery, so as soon as you pick up, it wasn't clear to me, but as soon as you pick up the battery, your grip gets a recharge, right? So yeah, there are partial charges and fully charged batteries, and yeah. So the grip is very fun. It's a good way to save ammo. You can push, you can throw with this Atella kinetic grip. You can push enemies off a platform or off some sort of bridge, and then you can make it easier for yourself. And yeah, now you don't get, so you can stomp kill, similar thing to Dead Space. You do stomp down enemies, and once you stomp like an enemy on the infected dead corpses, you take the loot. The loot, where it can be credits or ammo or health. It is very important to do this. If you throw like an enemy off like some sort of a platform, you can't get those resources, right? So yeah, but again, the grip is as a good way to save ammo and all that, and it makes it a lot easier for yourself. There's this one gruesome thing where there's this razor spinner generator, and it literally just cuts anything, like grinds anything, and then you could throw the infected into it, and then it's like literally like blood everywhere. It's just blood splattered, this mist of blood everywhere, and yeah. So yeah, Callisto Protocols, I actually liked it. I actually liked it overall, right? The story, so I'm not gonna say how much about the story, but the pacing of the game, so the pacing, and near the end of the game kind of drags. It kind of drags a little bit. It kind of drags early on in the game to middle. It was better for me. Middle to kind of 3/4 of it was good, but the ending though, kind of dragged. But still, it was still very good. At the ending, well, it kind of makes up for it because you got more, you get more offensive options as you play more of the game. You get more weapons, right? More options, alternatives as you play more and like unlock more things. So yeah, Callisto Protocols, like and subscribe. Thank you.